Hello, it's Optimal Nate, and I am back with a new issue from the Star Trek Starships Collection featuring the USS Titan NCC 80102. This was captained by Captain Riker, and this was the ship that him and Counselor Troy were stationed on for a short time after the events of Star Trek Nemesis, when he was hitting the prime of his career. There was another issue in the Star Trek Starships Collection featuring the USS Titan, which the newer version was seen in Star Trek Picard Season 3, which was based off of this ship, but a much different version than this one. So, let's take a quick look at the box art. The front here, we have an incredible portrait of the USS Titan. And on the side here, we have it warping into space. The classic design that you see on most of the boxes for this series, where they show the top view of the ship taking off. Okay. The side here, we have the Fan Home logo. On the bottom, we have the Star Trek logo with the website and some other literature if you want to read through that. And on the back, we have another view of the ship on its stand once you take it out and put all together. But this is from Star Trek Picard, of course. With this series, there's 20 installments. With this being issue 7, issue 8 will be an XL size, so it will be the bigger ship. It'll probably be more like 10 to 11 inches. And as far as I know, that one is supposed to be the new USS Enterprise G, which formerly was the newer Titan. So that will be a nice review to do for you guys when that comes up sometime next month. So, take a seat back, relax, grab a cup of your favorite drink. For this video, I'm having a cup of coffee in my nice little Star Trek coffee mug. Alright, so hang tight and then we'll open this up. Okay, so let's open this up and we'll take a look at the contents that we have with this issue. Here you have your magazine, which you get standard with every issue of the Star Trek Starships Collection, featuring the USS Titan NCC 80102. Inside, we have our table of contents. It lets us know it's a Luna-class ship. It was 453.3 meters, captained by William T. Riker. For its weaponry, we have phasers, photon torpedoes, quantum torpedoes, and its propulsion system was impulse and warp. Here's a nice little side view with the stand assembly. Let's take a look at some of the concept art. That would be the final rendering that they would have had, I'm assuming, before they went to production, actually building any models. The Luna-class USS Titan was Will Riker's first full command. So it was a Luna-class ship, commanded by Captain William Riker. He assumed control of the ship in 2379, when his first mission was to head up a Federation task force that was sent to respond to Romulan peace overtures in the aftermath of Shinzon's failed coup. There's a lot more you can read through there, so you can check that out when you get yours. Here's some additional concept artwork. You got a bottom view here, and you have a back view. Here's a front view. Okay. Sorry, that was a top view, and over here is the bottom. Pretty broad looking, solid ship. And it goes into some more detail about the designing of the ship. It took the best part of 20 years for the Luna class to make its live action debut, but at that point it had already established itself as an important part of Star Trek's history. Okay. Technically, the USS Titan itself had never made an appearance in a live-action series. However, the Picard art department did have Bill Krause build a model of it that was sprayed gold and displayed in the Titan's A's observation lounge alongside other ships that have carried the same name. So yeah, that's why you would not have really seen it. And then here's some other renderings. These would be the earliest stages of its design. Some pretty interesting concepts they came up with. I kind of like this one a little bit. I'm getting Voyager vibes with these a little bit. Lots of reading material in this. And up here, the Titan made its debut as a pull-out section in the novel Sword of Damocles, which was published in November of 2007. Which, if I'm not mistaken, I believe I bought this book when it came out. When I found out it was Captain Riker, I was intrigued to get the book and read the story. And there's some more concepts. These would be the final renderings before they got into any promo art or developing it for games and so forth. Here's a nice, beautiful view of it taking off from a planet. It was part of the game Star Trek Online. I do remember that. And after its appearance on Lower Decks, the S-70 team were inspired to give that model an upgrade built by Thomas Richer. This was a version that they passed on to the Star Trek Picard VFX team. So there is your book. Very nice work. One of the best magazines I've seen so far in this series with any of the ships. I will drop a link below for the last issue. The previous one I did was the SHRIKE, which was the big baddie from Star Trek Picard. Let's take our top out here. Okay. Here's your stand. Your clip that's going to go on your ship. Hey, there's our hockey puck. And for any of you that are new to my channel that have not seen me do these reviews before, I always refer to this as a hockey puck. 1 second. Oh, they really taped this one up good. The last issue, I was able to get it out, no problem. Okay, nice little solid base. All right. The fact that I love about these ships, these models, you don't have to do any assembly to put them together. All you got to do is take them out of the styrofoam, put them in your stand and display. Put the box aside. Put our little hockey puck there. I kind of gave up on using my little carousel. It was just awkward trying to pose them in the videos. It's not really meant for these kind of models. That's more for the that's more for like smaller toys. Oh my god. So I just did something I should have done. I was trying to push it in, and this actually just broke off. So do not put too much pressure on these when you're putting them in the stand, okay? Which I can fix that after I do the video for you guys. So we're just going to free scale this one. Can't believe that happened in the recording here. So let's take a look at this baby, all right? It's first glance, it's a pretty solid design. It definitely has a lot of weight to it. I like the work nacelles on the side here with the flute piping, I think they call it, they use in here to make the light look more transparent through the covers here. Light flutes. Turn it to the side here. We can angle it in the light a little bit better. You can kind of see it give that little glow. And the back here is your secondary hull, your shuttle bay. Nice long landing deck there. So, well proportioned overall. I would assume this is the observation lounge. on top of here on this bridge looking thing. Probably port windows in there where people can go to, say, if this would be their 10 forward up here where they would have their recreation stuff. I could be wrong. It might be in a different location on this ship. These would be, I'm assuming, your escape pods through here and here. Or those could be actually for your, I'm wondering if that's where your quantum torpedoes would come out. So I'm not very knowledgeable about this ship offhand. And as I've said before, I focus more on the aesthetics appeal. But as far as the height goes, it's very short. I'm not sure how many decks are on this ship, but size-wise, I want to say that this is probably on par with the Enterprise E, maybe a little bit shorter, but I want to say this is bulkier, weight-wise. I'm thinking this is the captain's bridge up here, where all the main operations take place. Not a whole lot of Aztecing going on, but you can definitely see the darker gray patches integrated throughout the panels on the top with your windows. I like the little red in the pylon here. There's a nice little bit of a glow going on there when the light hits it. And underneath your saucer, you have the name USS Titan. That's the best I can get the light to hit it because it's so shallow there. And your deflector dish in the front, really well installed. I like the design in there. It's got some nice curves around the edges. It looks like they did some light fluting in there. So, most impressive. I love the fact how these work nacelles are solid. They don't seem too flimsy. They're very sturdy. Nice wide pylons in there to hook them into the secondary hull. You pay a decent price for these. I gotta admit, for the monthly subscription, they range between $50 to $60 a month. With every fourth issue, when they do the XL editions, those cost a little bit more. If in case you want to know more about it, you can always go on FanHome's website to see what they got coming up in their subscriptions. And I also know that you don't have to do the subscription. If you just want to buy the issues individually, you can take that chance after subscribers have received theirs. The only condition is there's no guarantee that the ships will be available by the time you want to order them. That's why it's better to get the subscription and continue doing it so you're guaranteed each ship. That's the best way to go about it. Well-balanced colors. You got some nice Aztecing in here as well with the dark mustard brown color paint in there. You can see another strip in there with the red. And try to make sure your hands are clean when you're handling these too. You don't want to get grease and stuff on them or grime. And display them in a case, something with glass paneling so they're protected from dust. But the only gripe I have is, like I said, with this, my stand, of course, you've seen a few minutes ago, I broke this when I put it in. I put too much pressure on it, and it just popped right off. That's the first time that's ever happened to me. So make sure you're careful with that. Otherwise, I'd be able to display this without me constantly holding it. But as my saying goes, stay humble and true, my dudes. Thanks for watching today. One to beam out. Dun, 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 dun.